All right, we're live.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, we have got together. Man, I tell you what, I stayed up so late last night, wee hours of the morning, because I was setting up with folks whose New Year's didn't occur until like it was 4 o'clock in the morning for me. So I was on those live streams, and I was going to be the soldier that sat there the whole time. And I actually woke up at 1:30 this afternoon. So I'm going to have bourbon for breakfast here with y'all. But we did pick out some bourbons, and some that have some stories behind them. I don't have too many of these, but I know you've had the Heaven's Door, and you like it, and that's a Bob Dylan endorsed.
Bob Dylan, yeah.
Right. And so, of course, Bob Dylan doesn't distill it, but, you know, he's got his name on it.
Thought he did.
And so the ones we're going to be kind of looking at here today is Wild Turkey, Long Branch, and that's famously a collab with Eddie Russell, and I don't know how much collaboration it truly was, but Matthew McConaughey, right? But basically, you know, I lived in Texas. I'm not from Texas. I've lived there for like 18 plus years. And mesquite is big in Texas, and you know we would deer hunt out there, and animals, meat, especially wild game, gets flavored by what they eat, and they ate those mesquite pods off there, and it is just a little sweeter. And this is Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, oak and Texas mesquite charcoal refined. You know, and that's one thing about charcoal filtering. Is what kind of sets Tennessee. They try to separate themselves from the group, and they call it Tennessee whiskey. But Tennessee whiskey, if y'all don't know, is technically, legally could be called bourbon. It's made exactly the same. I can't say that for every single one of them, but I know that Jack Daniels, Uncle Nearest, and all that. The only difference is they charcoal filter. But there's nothing in the law that says they can't do that. But this is proof of that. So
what does that do for you? Does it make it lighter?
It adds a little flavor to it.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. And you know, we talk about you know, bourbons that say uncut, unfiltered. So no water added, as cutting. And then unfiltered means they didn't filter it over charcoal, you know. So the other one we have here for today, this is Terry Bradshaw. And the proof on this, the first one we're going to have is 43 proof, so it's only 86. 43%, so 86 proof. This one happens to be 51.9%. It's 103.8 proof. It's the Bradshaw. Now, this is a Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. And again, this is like picked by, it's got his name on it, Terry Bradshaw. Crafted in the heart of Kentucky bourbon country. The last one is not necessarily a famous person. Didn't have anything to do with it, but a movie did. So in the Kingsman movies, the clothier, you know, the men's fine suits and all that was their front, you know, for their secret society. Yeah. And then on the second one, Kingsman 2, they collab with the Statesman. And so I pulled out Old Forester Statesman here. This is supposed to be the bourbon for the movie, you know. To tell you the truth, though, this is 95 proof. Old Forester has that Murderer Row series, you know, and I have, you know, the 90, the 100, and the 1920 is 110 proof, I think it is, or 115. Yeah, 115 proof. And to me, the 1920 is the best one. This is not quite as good as any of that series from Old Forester, but it's still an okay bourbon. You get what you pay for, though. But it is 95 proof. So Old Forester bourbon. These are all three Kentucky Straight Bourbon whiskeys. So there we go. And we'll start with the Long Branch. Now, I went back and I bought 2 more bottles of this when I tried it. But it's only because and I have a full bottle sitting back there as a backup. But the mesquite is what got me, and it's got a little sweet mesquite kick to it, and it really. Hey, Independent Joe, what's going on?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody. So I'm just going to pour a tiny bit because after last night, I am not going to sit here and rip through this stuff. I need to recover in 2022 here. So, all right.
Does smell sweet.
Yeah. Now, bourbon, again, all whiskeys, it's a personal journey. You know, some people are going to like things better than others. Some people, you know, like I don't really care for chocolate that much, like milk chocolate bars or anything. And people look at me like I'm from Mars.
I don't care for dark chocolate bars, so.
Yep. But there are some good notes coming through here, even though it's only 86 proof.
Good lines coming down.
Oh, yeah. It's got, all of these are going to have decent legs on them, good oils in them. All right. Now, here's one thing I'll tell you. When you're going to taste a bourbon like that, even if I only pour a little tiny bit, it's always better to get some of it on your tongue. Let that kind of shock the system a little bit, and then go back and get a little more.
Okay.
Because what you're
That
doing,
does make sense.
you're preparing your palate. And I'm going to pour you a little bit more here so you can ease into it a little, because it will make a difference on it.
So just drink a little sip first.
Yep,
and then
just a little bit here and a little bit there.
swish it around.
Well, you can, and sometimes I'll hold it, you know, on a spot, and then some bourbons, if they don't have good legs, you have to force it around the palate. But the ones with the better oils will just, it's like putting a drop of oil on the end of your tongue. It just spreads immediately across, you know. Otherwise, we're just doing shots.
Isn't that what we're doing?
Nah.
No.
But no, there's really good legs on this. And to me, this is quintessential wild turkey. And you know, wild turkey's good juice anyway. You know, Jimmy and Eddie Russell are fantastic with what they do. And about anything they get their hands on, it's going to come out decent. The Russell's Reserve, I like the 10 years pretty good, but let's see here, Fulton. Happy New Year, Fulton. All right. January 5th, heading to a recording studio for his new Christian song called Jesus Come and Get Us Very Soon. Well, congratulations there, Fulton.
That's awesome.
Well, I will say this. I am going to plug this. I am about to give away 30 1-ounce samples. This is hey, Kathy, this is a drawing that requires a monetary donation to the GoFundMe for OG Fest. So we're going to go to Arkansas next year to Jimmy from OG Son's World. We're going out. He's got property out there. We're going to be pulling travel trailers, setting up. We're going to be there for a week, and we're going to shoot some awesome content. And but there's people that live too far away, and the airfare is prohibitive.
Yes.
So
air flight is prohibited.
yeah, it's call it cost prohibitive. So we're trying to raise a little pinch so we can help people get there, and all of the money is going to go to that. But I have.
Hi, Kathy.
I have a thing posted on my community tab. So if anybody wants to get in on that drawing, for every $1 you give, you get an entry into that spin. And I'm going to spin for it probably on Thursday. And I'll do a couple more little announcements before then. But this is one where you get a double entry. You get one entry for that 30 sample bourbon spin, which is going to include my best bourbons, stuff you can't buy anymore. You're just not going to find it. It's going to have the full lineups from everything I have from, like, say, here's all my wild turkeys. So you can try all of them, all of the Beam Suntories I have, all of the Heaven Hills, you know, that type of stuff. And with 30 different samples, I mean, I have over 100 bourbons back here, but I know what 30 are good, and what people need to have to walk through, all of it.
So you're gonna put the link for the GoFundMe page?
Yeah, I'll put it in the description down below at some point. But like I said, on my community tab, there is a post that says OG Fest, and it has a thing that says 30 sample bourbons on it, and the link is in there. So, all right, the sweet mesquite is still there, and that oak coming through, but there is a sweetness to this bourbon.
That mystique, yeah.
Yeah, and
really
so yeah, it's really 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 good. So after this, we'll try the Old Forester Statesman. So I've gotten enough off of this. I'm going to go ahead and finish that off. And we are pouring bourbon over top of bourbon here, but you're not going to taint the flavor that much at all.
So these are blended bourbons.
No. Well, barely. All right. Let's see. All right. Not as sweet on the nose, for sure. Now, this is totally two different distilleries, right? So two different everything. Master distillers different, tastes are different grain, all that. You got Wild Turkey, and then now we're over into Old Forester. So you're going to have two completely different profiles, that
Definitely
you're,
not as sweet.
you're working with here. Still good legs. Whew, poured that down the wrong hole there. All right. Yeah, I tried to swish it and I hit my windpipe. All right. But no,
that was good.
It's still
good, yeah.
relatively, it still has a sweetness to it, but it's not as sweet as the Long Branch. Oh, yeah. A lot more darker oak flavor coming out of this, and the subdued vanilla and the roasty fruit notes. But again, this is like a little baby version of a lot of the other Old Foresters. Yeah, this is Old Forester Statesman. And they bottled it after the movie, the second Kingsman movie with the Statesman in it. We're doing bourbons that have a hype story from someone famous or a movie or something. And we have 3 because I'm not going to drink that many. No, it's still a good bourbon though.
It is. Yeah.
And now this is one of those bourbons. Hey, Peppers, what's going on? Missed you yesterday or the other day on the live.
Hey, Peppers.
This is one of those Old Foresters that if you drink any of the other Old Foresters and then go back to this, you're like, no, that's shit, But on its own, it's not bad. It's a decent bourbon. But again, all of these are Kentucky straight bourbons, so they live up, and they're not just bourbons. That they have to be aged a little longer. Yeah. Boy, that kick in the back. The finish is it almost has a good finish, almost.
I can smell the vanilla too.
Yeah. And it's got some of those darker fruits. I get a little raisin out of this, but not nearly as pronounced as, say, the 1920 or something, because you're stepping up and up and up when you do that. But yeah, not a bad bourbon at all. All right, well, let me go ahead and pour this, pour some. I'm going to finish that little bit I have left, but I'm going to pour you some of the Bradshaw here. And I'm going to finish this off. All right.
Good legs.
Well, and some of that could be some residual from the other
Could be,
bourbon
yeah.
in there, but no, it's got decent legs on it. Yeah. Now this one, the nose is not very pronounced, but for a 103.8 proof, this drinks way below its alcohol content. This tastes like more of a 90-ish proof. The feel on it, on the Bradshaw. But yeah, semi-decent legs on it. There's the raisin. Fig, that darker notes coming through. That's a really decent bourbon. And I didn't give it that good of a review the first time I tried it, but going back and revisiting it, it is really not a bad bourbon at all. Now, when I say, because what it reminds me of is like the Calumet 15, but like a very junior version of that. And again, if you go to the Calumet and then come back to it, yeah, you're going to be like, oh, this is shit.
What's Calumet?
Well, it's Calumet Farms, 15-year bourbon. I don't think this has an age statement on it. Well, yeah, aged a minimum of 2 years. So they do put, now to be Kentucky straight bourbon, or Kentucky's state, but to be a straight bourbon whiskey has to be at least aged 2 years. So excuse me, I'm still getting over that wash I had earlier. This one does not have an age statement on it, but they might put it somewhere. But if they don't put it, I wouldn't put it past Old Forester just to have this as a 4-year. But the Bradshaw, it has some really good flavors coming out in it. And this is Wild Turkey, so they probably aged it. Now you can see how pale the Long Branch is compared to the other two. So, but that's cutting and everything else, you know. But they're going to water it, you know, they're going to add water till they get it right where they want it. And, you know, that's the difference between somebody putting water in something because they're just trying to cut it down to sell more bourbon. Eddie Russell's not going to do that. He's going to sit there and they're going to proof it down and they're going to be like, no, this is the sweet spot. And that's where they're going to hold on it, you know. But the fact that they got it all the way down to, 86 proof, that's what he considered it to be
The sweet
the
spot.
sweet spot. Yeah.
So how does a guy get his name on a brandy?
Well, I mean,
Famous star. Do they go to him or?
no, yeah, sometimes it depends on how it started, you know, and all these people have agents and stuff, you know, and sometimes a distillery may reach out to several people and say, hey, we're thinking about doing a collaboration. But, you know, if you look at who's famous in Texas, really you have Matthew McConaughey and Willie Nelson. And they may have reached out to Willie, I don't know.
I don't
but-
think so. Willie goes for other stuff.
Yeah, but they were probably wanting to, yeah, if they had a greenery, they could have. But I know Matthew McConaughey hangs out a lot down in Austin. That's where he lives, outside of Austin, Texas. And, you go hang out in Austin, you'll see him around.
Yeah, probably.
You know.
Yeah.
And he drinks whiskey on the rocks, pretty much. But, you know, a lot of folks do that are into fitness and everything because, you know, beer will give you a gut and, you know, that type of stuff. But I don't know the story behind it. But I would assume that Eddie Russell was probably playing around with charcoal filtering and was probably playing around with different woods. And mesquite, Texas is famous for mesquites. So that was probably one of those things where it's like, hey, I could get some endorsement name on here or something and maybe sell more bottles of it or something. I don't know how it went, you know. And Eddie may not have even had much to do with the collaboration.
Probably
you know,
not. Yeah.
because they have a whole marketing firm. And, you know, I work for big insurance, and I know how that shit works. And I used to work for hospitals, and marketing departments go crazy sometimes. So there's just no telling. And now I think the story behind Heaven's Door, though, was a little more clear cut. I think there was a distillery who was trying to come up with something new and fresh, and got in with Bob Dylan and said, "Hey, we would like to use this." And of course, he's going to have an ownership cut in it, So why not?
Bob Dylan, no, that's new and fresh to the max.
Mhm. And Bob Dylan, even at his age, he just looks cool sitting there with his legs crossed, holding that snifter in his hand, looking at the camera, posing. But Bob Dylan, when he retired from music, he became a metal worker, like a artisan, and he does like gates. He builds gates, and they go for tens of thousands of dollars, for two little doors,
I'll take two.
And but he welds that stuff together, and the actual design on Heaven's Door, the bottle, is gates that he has, tack welded and created. Yeah. Got a little bird in the background, stuff like that. So it's a neat story, and good for him. Keep your idle hands. Keep busy doing something, and I would if I all of a sudden had like famous money. I'd come up with some frivolous, crappy thing to do. But no, I mean, even if I did go earlier. Did you get lottery tickets?
No,
No.
not yet.
I figured, what the hell, and we were talking about this earlier. If you don't buy a ticket, you have a 100% chance you're not going to win. If you do buy a ticket, you have a 99.99999999999% chance you're not going to win. But you have a hope. So, one of them's 100% and the other one's almost 100%.
It's more fun buying them though, right?
Yeah, and it's 500 million.
Who
for
knows?
the drawing tonight.
Who knows?
But that's that life-changing money. That, I mean, if I won 10 grand, whatever. Yeah, I would do something with the 5,500 I got after taxes or whatever. I'd probably dump it all into this channel, buy bourbon, whatever.
Yeah.
Fund a couple of bourbon hunts or something. But no, that's not life-changing money, But no, if you, even nowadays, if you got $1 million,
that's not life-changing money anymore.
well, it can be, but I would dump most of it into my retirement.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm too close. You see the color of my beard. I'm
See the color of my hair? Yep.
Yeah.
We're both
It would
pretty close.
it would knock some years off of waiting for retirement. But even if you win $1 million, you're going to lose about 43% of the winnings, and all that. So you're going to end up with $600 something thousand or whatever. And that's even if there's that. Sometimes though, there's cash options, and then there's annuity payments and things like that. And some of it's like annuity for life or whatever. And then there's the J.G. Wentworth things,
Yeah.
Here's my money. I need cash now. It's like,
You have annuity payments. We'll get them for you.
But all they do is front you money off of the money you were going to get anyway, and then charge you interest on it.
Yeah, 40%. But yeah, that would be nice at this point in my life to do one of those lottos.
Yeah. I mean, I would, hey, Jerry J, what's going on? I would actually, and here's a little inside information for the 6 people watching. I think
that many?
I would build a disc golf course. I love disc golf.
Yes,
I love it. And it's a good activity. I get 10,000 steps when I go play, on my little watch, tell me how many steps I got. But we calculated it, and it's playing 18 holes. You walk about 2.3 miles.
Yeah.
So
when you do it twice.
Yeah, when you go through it twice, you're walking, a little over 4.5 miles.
About 5 miles, yeah.
And it's
Let's round it off.
uneven terrain. uphill, downhill, climbing, you know, watching your step out in the woods, getting, you know, into the sawbriars and stepping around, pulling that cart and all those discs. I mean, you know, it's one of those things. Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun to play. The only thing with disc golf is you're getting a ring over there. The same etiquette is like with ball golf, right? Regular golf. If you're slow, let people play through. You know, and the one thing I would do with my course is I would have rules of engagement. I mean, I would have free tee times, like open tee times, but I would also sell memberships to have private tee times. But I would say you get one mulligan per round. You throw one disc on every drive. If we catch you throwing 2 or 3 discs off the tees, we're going to kick your ass out of here, you know, because you're just holding everybody up. And there's guys that go out there and they're young and they're just getting to where they can throw 300 and they're so proud of themselves. And I can throw, 420 sometimes on a good throw. That was an odd number I pulled out. We'll just say 425, but, on a good roll or whatever. But, these guys, they want an audience and they play really slow and they act like they line up every shot, and boy, they're holding the disc up, picking grass up, doing this, and everybody behind them was backing up. And I'm like, just throw the damn thing, man. You're not going to hit it anyway.
Well, let me play through.
Yeah. And we end up having to skip a hole and move over and get ahead of them because they just won't let anyone play through.
Or there's the people that have the husband, the wife, and the 20 kids.
Oh, and the 20 kids. That's why I said, I went out there one day and they were like, I was like, well, did they bring the daycare center to disc golf? And every kid is throwing a disc.
Yeah.
And they have these big Frisbee discs. They don't even have real golf discs.
Almost bigger than they are.
And they can throw it like maybe 6 feet. And then they all walk up there and they throw it again. The good thing about that is you're not going to lose the disc, Now, if you're throwing a laced 320 up through the woods and you tip a tree and that disc takes off, one way or another, you're going to be digging for it.
I was there. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
But
you didn't lose too many that day, though.
I didn't lose any. I mean, I've only lost like 2 discs ever because I'm that good, guys. But really, I'm pretty good. Yeah. But I hit my lines. But one disc, I knew where it was. I could see it. But my God, that was a thorny mess. That was in Kentucky, and it was like the story of Brer Rabbit. Like, oh, don't throw me in there. He throws him in there, and then he's like, adios, and takes off. And the wolf couldn't get in there because I was the wolf. And my disc was the rabbit. I couldn't get in there to it, so I let it go. Tree ejected. Yeah. I mean, I have stickers. I have a cart. I'm all fancy with it, but I'll put the sticker on there. It says "stupid trees." But no, it's fun. It's and it's good exercise.
It is good exercise. I'm going to get into it.
Yep. But so I think my favorite. Let's go back to the bourbons right quick. I think after trying them now today, I think my favorite is still the Wild Turkey Long Branch. But I think Bradshaw edged out the Old Forester because of the darker fig raisin notes in it, and knowing what Old Forester can be, and knowing that the Statesman is not their best offering. I like the Long Branch, then the Bradshaw, and then the Old Forester Statesman is my third pick out of these 3, but they're all decent bourbons.
I think I agree with your picks. Yeah, I like the Long Branch and the Bradshaw, but still, Heaven's Gate is always first with me.
The Heaven's Door. Yeah.
Sorry.
He makes gates.
My favorite bourbon. I don't know the name of it. Great. So,
well, just remember the song.
Yeah, Heaven's Gate, right.
Door.
Oh, yeah, right. It's Heaven's Door.
Knock, knock, knocking on Heaven's Door. Yeah. I sang that more like Guns N' Roses did. Oh, that broke my heart when they came out with that. Yeah, I think Welcome to the Jungle was like the first mega hit for Guns N' Roses that put them on the map. But I think November Rain
Yeah, November Rain.
is
That
a
was
good
theirs.
one. But they didn't do a horrible job on Heaven's Door, but it was all right. But man, there's some great Dylan songs out there, though.
Yeah, and nobody can do it better than him. It just sounds flat when anybody else tries to do it.
Yeah, Mr. Great Shot. I'm not comparing Bradshaw. I was comparing it to the Old Forester Statesman, not the 1920. 1920 is going to kick the crap out of all three of these bourbons that we decided to sip on tonight. But like I've said before, I compare it like this. Thinking back to my single days, there's not very many bourbons I'd kick out of bed, but there's not very many I'd put a ring on, So, when I was running around wild and crazy in my single days, there wasn't a lot that, it had to be bad. But no, I wasn't going to, get into a long-term relationship with them. But, some of these bourbons are, and then there's some though that it's fun, but I can't afford it. I can't afford to drink, some of these
Pappies?
higher end bourbons all the time. I mean, I'd have to sell my house and live out of that travel trailer we bought. And then it would only last so long, But the thing with the Pappies and all, it's just the hype around it is so much. And there's so many people with so much that they can do to hold it in the back and sell it to their friends and even give it, buy it for themselves and sell it on the aftermarket, try to get thousands of dollars out of it. Hey, what's up? 21090s in the house. Cheers and Happy New Year.
Cheers.
So everybody in the chat, is it an eventful? Do you feel different today than you did yesterday? Did we feel more hopeful about the new year? Because someone asked last night a pretty good question on one of the live streams. I didn't go live yesterday at all. I was just on other people's live streams. But I was up till almost 5 o'clock this morning because we rang in the new year for Alaska because Samantha Lee was doing it. Yep, don't feel much different. But somebody said, what are your aspirations in the new year for bourbon or whatnot? And I have two. And one of them is to shoot a documentary, a 30-minute documentary on a distillery. And I have a collab going, and it's going to be a while, guys. It's probably not going to come out till the fall of 2022 because this is not going to be like my regular VR 180 post where everything's kind of laid out and I have my color schemes and everything. This is going to be multi-shot, different aspect shots. This is going to be, slow pans of rick houses and things like that as we are interviewing and all that. So I'm putting together a storyboard, like a wireframe for how this thing's going to be shot. And it's going to take me months and months to do it. And I'm going to really tweak the coloring and cinematic, all of that. And, but I'm going to shoot for a week on site with this particular distillery that has agreed, to work with me on this. And it's in Kentucky, but it's a smaller distillery. And that was my goal I want to find someone who is just established, like maybe over the last 10 or 12 years, and everything's fresh in their mind. And they're like, okay, what did it take to get to here? And now here's where you are. So that's one thing I'm going to do in 2022. The other one, when it comes to bourbon hunting, I'm always looking for anything I don't have, right? But I'm going to put a little more effort this year into the Buffalo Trace Antique line. Looking for the Antique 107, the CYPB, those types of bottles, just to have more Buff Trace on the shelf. Because right now, I have Eagle Rare, I have Buffalo Trace, and I used to have a Weller, and I don't care anything about Weller Special Reserve. I'll put a bottle up there, but that green label, the base Weller Special Reserve, there's nothing special about it, right? So But no, I am going to look for maybe some William LaRue, from the antique line, and possibly even there's certain things if I can find. I kind of know what's in the back of my head, but I'll try to land that. But if y'all are just joining it and all that, in my community tab, I did post a thing. It's maybe 2 posts ago now. If you want to get in on this drawing, all you have to do is donate to the GoFundMe page, and it's for OG Fest for next year. That's the other big thing we're going to do in the fall, October-ish timeframe, is we're all going to Arkansas to Jimmy's property from OG Sans World. It's going to be Groovy Lava Squirrel, me, Jimmy, hopefully Samantha from Samantha Lee's Originals, maybe Crazy Ann. Depends on how much money I can raise on this thing. But what I'm going to do is for every $1 donated, I've already ordered the bottles, and I have a 30-pack 1-ounce samples, and I'm going to do 30 1-ounce samples, right, of my best bourbons and full sets of like everything I have from like Buff Trace, from Wild Turkey, from Heaven's Hill, from Beam Suntory lineup, all of that. And so for people who don't have a big bourbon shelf and you want to experience like some of the things that we do, now, I have over 100 bourbons back here, but I know which ones are shit and which ones are not, right? And I'm not going to send you the crap. I'm going to send you 30 good 1-ounce samples, and it will give you an opportunity to really walk through all of these different bourbons. And I'll label them very well. But for every $1 you donate to the GoFundMe page, you get an entry, double entry, first into the drawing that I'm going to be doing this next week. And you will also gain an entry into the quarterly drawing for the 24-note nosing kit and all of that. So, and those I do first, second, third. Now, this is one prize winner only. 30 sample bourbons in a box. When the box comes in, I'm going to cut it open. I'm going to fill and label the bottles and put them right back in the same packaging, fold it up, and ship it out. So that's how tight it's going to be.
It's going to be good. You
And
can count on that.
yeah, 30. I mean, count them up, 30. And you're going to get bourbons that you can't buy anymore. I mean, you're not going to find a bottle of it anymore. And it's some that I've held on to for years because I thought they were the best stuff ever, And I'll give up an ounce of it for you. But it will include all the top shelf stuff, and full sets of bourbons. So, yeah, RB, when it's probably going to be sometime in the late spring, early summer. I know the family, we have something planned coming up. Yeah, and please don't drink all 30 in one sitting. That would be painful, if not deadly. But no, it's going to be a lot of bourbon.
Yeah, and you'd only be able to taste the first 5, then the rest of them would just
Yeah, they all taste
like
like
nothing.
bourbon. You take a good power nap after that.
definitely.
Sure. No, but no one can do that many. But yeah, it's going to be, and I'm going to fill them up too, all the way. And so you can do like we did today and just pour like, a little half ounce or something of each one. And that's plenty to get a good taste. And you can swirl and get the legs on it and all that. So you can actually go through and do them twice, But I'm also going to send a snifter when Bourbon Bounty etched glass logo snifter to go along with those 30. So probably in a separate box. Yeah, so for every $1 donated, that's what it is. And I guarantee you, of course, GoFundMe takes a little cut, off there. But it's not a lot.
Yeah, it's really not. It's not for what they do.
Yeah, they only grabbed about, the last transfer I had was like $150 back to me. And I keep it in a separate account. I have a savings account thing, and I put it over there, and I keep a ledger. Trust me, I'm a professional. I do this the right way. But I know, and I think they only kept like $5 or $6 out of that 150. So I mean, it's a good donation, but incentivize it for the win. 30 bourbons, there's nothing to sniff at. I mean, nothing to sneeze at, man. You're going to get a good sampling and well marked. So, yeah, we got a few more minutes here. We usually try to keep this to under an hour, but we've been hitting around the 45-minute mark. But Blue Farm, how's it going? But yeah, on my community tab of my page, you can find the link to that GoFundMe, and it's live right now. Anyone who donates, even if it's $5, I mean, come on, you'll get 5 entries, and you'll have a chance to win 30 sample bourbons. Yeah.
So,
and I'll hype this up more as we get closer. But once this spins over, that's it. I mean, and I'm gonna lock it in at probably 6 p.m. on Thursday, because I go live at 6:45. But I'll look for entries coming in, and we'll spend for it. Now, this is an immediate gratification type thing. I mean, you give and you get. If you
it's
win,
a good cause. So,
and it's going to pay itself back too, because y'all don't understand the crazy ass content we're going to be able to bring you from OG Fest. I mean, it's going to be a wild time. And I know Groovy's already said. He said at some point it's going to be him running across a field with nothing but tennis shoes on. we'll blur out the part you don't need to see. Don't expect me to do that.
We need to blur it out?
Yeah.
What's an adult show?
Well, no, but I mean, we're going to be posting these things. So it's not going to be,
Just kidding.
No, but no, those are my plans for 2022 for the channel. Other than that, just play it by ear, and good, exciting things going on at work. We got acquired by a larger insurance company, and the future's looking pretty bright. So, but yeah, I'll be tugging that travel trailer with me, dragging it across 3 states over there.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
But I may also take it to Kentucky. But yeah, RB, I'll let you know when I'm going to be heading that way. And I've got plenty of room. If you can get off and be there, that'd be awesome. But plenty of sleeping quarters in this thing. And I actually have a door that closes to the bedroom. So, I mean, it's not that thick of a door, but depending on how much
not soundproof.
Depending on how much bourbon I've had, I will snore. Yeah, but I'm not that bad if I haven't had that much to drink. But boy, when I have too much to drink, man, I snore like a chainsaw. Oh yeah, and I need to reply back to him, because I'm going to ask for a specific contact person, because he said he was going to be back and forth between there and Florida. So, but he said his folks can work with me on that and all that. So I just need, a name I can work with on there, because somebody's going to appear in the documentary on camera as an interviewee. Interviewee.
Yeah.
But I will be. It's only going to be a 30-minute episode, but I'm trying to pack like high quality into 30 minutes. So post is going to be a lot of work, but yeah, we'll get it done. So guys, with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Do you have anything to say?
Nope, sure don't. Just go ahead and go to that MyFundMe page, because when he says 30 bottles of bourbon,
Not bottles, samples.
samples.
Okay. No, I'm not going to
Little
send 30
bottles.
bottles.
Little
yeah,
bottles.
Little bottles. Yeah.
They're the best bourbon you can find.
Oh yeah.
So you're going to win a lot for that little donation.
Yeah, that you can find is going to be the optimal. And some you can't find.
Yeah. Some you can't find. Those are the best. So yeah, go to my MyFundMe page, donate, and everybody have a happy New Year, and
stay safe
drink
out
and
there.
drive.
Yep, stay safe out there. And if you do choose to drink and drive, don't come whining to me about it when your life gets turned
messes
upside
up your
down.
life. Yeah.
All right. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and end this. Love all y'all. Talk to you later.